Welcome to our AI Workforce Readiness and Job Search Strategy program. We are bridging digital learning and real world careers. I am Jennifer Dunn. Actually, we have some noise in the background. I think maybe Anthony, if you mute yourself. There we go. All right. That's a little bit better. I'd like to welcome everybody again. Not sure if you heard me, but this is the AI Workforce Readiness and Job Search Strategy Program, Bridging Digital Learning and Real World Careers. I'm so excited to be able to kick off this LinkedIn Live event focused on how we are preparing learners, both teens and adults, to thrive in an AI-powered workforce. I'm Jennifer Dunn. I am the founder and CEO of Bunifu Learning for Life. Our team led the development of the AI Workforce Readiness curriculum that we are going to talk about today in collaboration with the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation and Avery Grace Career Coaching. Together, we were able to create a blended learning experience that you're going to be able to see that is self-paced modules. You'll also be able to see how it's a live facilitation and career coaching all combined. This really empowers learners with foundational digital skills that Microsoft Copilot Readiness and real job search. So today, you're going to hear about the collaboration, but we're also going to talk about how we can support job seekers, educators, counselors, and workforce leaders in this session to equip with tools to help you succeed as you're supporting learners around your community. But before we dive into today's session, I would like to have my co-presenters introduce themselves. If you could give your name, your title, your organization, and also lastly, how AI literacy and this collaboration matters to you. And we'll start with Anthony.
Hello, Jennifer. Really excited to be here. I'm Anthony Parnell, Executive Director of the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation. We're located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we know that there's a lot of money here in this town, but there's also segments of the town that are being left behind with access to technology and AI. So I'm really excited to be able to get the word out and spread the word more.
Karen?
Thanks for having me here, Jennifer. It's an honor to present with you and Anthony. Again, I'm Karen Marchetti. I'm the CEO of Avery Grace Careers. And it's just so exciting to work with such passionate people about unrolling this AI content to everybody and just making it accessible. So I couldn't be more excited.
So, of course, we have some questions that we know we want to ask the panelists, but we do want to make this interactive. So in the comment section, as you're watching the event today, please submit any questions or any comments, and I can then stop what we're already doing and answer any questions that you have. But the first question is really an introductory question about the AI course that we all collaborated in. How does this build confidence for learners, especially in new AI tools?
Well, we had heard for years, that with computers and technology, that there still were segments of the population that were being left behind with access to technology. Everyone not having a computer in their home, low-income students not having access to computers, so you're being left behind in the digital world. Where the same thing is happening, that we know that a lot of jobs are being created, are being lost with AI, but people aren't talking about the jobs that are being created with AI. So what we've done as the Urban Chamber, or UCCDC, is we've created what we call as the AI and STEM Career Pathways Initiative. So that began with us building an online training institute where over time we want to build out a library of courses that are affordable, accessible, and in some cases are free to the public. So the first course that we created is a very comprehensive 10-hour course that's called AI Career Readiness for Teens and AI Career Readiness for Adults and General Productivity. So it walks you through as an initial exposure of how already right within the different Microsoft products of Word, Outlook, Excel, Teams, and PowerPoint, AI is already active through Copilot. So that gives you an introductory exposure to the power of AI. And then the goal is to introduce you to other certification levels down paths of AI.
How about you, Karen?
Well, we sort of come in at the end after the students complete that 10-hour curriculum. As good as AI is, and believe me, I'm a big cheerleader for it, there's really no substitute, though, for one-on-one. So we come in sort of at the end so that we can help them to find out exactly where they are on that spectrum of mastery of the AI tools. A job search is really not something that you do often enough to become proficient at it either. So we can help them to kind of overcome some of the places where they might be stubbing their toe. For example, getting past the electronic gatekeeper. Our surveys have shown that 64% of job seekers feel extremely frustrated trying to get past the electronic gatekeeper. So we're able to show them some tips and tricks that are able to get them past the electronic gatekeeper. And so also in the course, one of the modules teaches them how to use AI to generate a resume. Well, just because AI generates a resume does not mean it's ready to send, right? We want to review that. We want to help them identify areas where they need to tweak it. And then the final example, I think, would be interview skills. With AI, you can create some mock interview opportunities and sharpen up those skills. So once you do start getting those interviews, you're able to represent yourself in a way that is attractive to the employer, number one, and number two, gets them the amount of money that they would like to make.
Awesome. It's when we thought about creating this curriculum, it was really important for us to make sure that we started where the learners are. So, because actually for some, AI tools can be very intimidating. So we're hoping that most folks have some exposure, whether it's in high school or some type of training to Word, PowerPoint, Excel, maybe not so much, but somewhat Excel, but Outlook. And also we wanted to provide teens and adults experience with teams as well as a communication and how the Copilot overlays over each of those 365 features. And these are things that young people and adults need as entry-level skills. And that's what's not happening necessarily in the classroom. We're actually going to walk you through the platform and the curriculum, but it's so wonderful because it is self-paced. So a student or learner can go on to the actual platform 24/7. That means they can access it at any time. And it's step by step. It's not something that, hey, you have to have this finished by this time. And then we knew that these learners needed some support with coaching. And so that's where Karen comes in to bring that live support as they go through. And also there's some experience where they'll have an instructor in some cases that actually at some points with some facilitation to help support them as they're working their way through the different modules. So I do want to ask Karen you a question, because I'm sure not only our teens, but people today are looking for some advice around careers. It's a hot topic as far as what supports, but we're going to focus it on students. But how does career coaching support students in applying these new AI skills in real world settings?
Well, that's a great question, actually. To identify, as I had mentioned, getting past the electronic gatekeeper for one thing, right, to go ahead and be able to use the skills to tweak their resumes, because it's all about being applicant tracking system compatible. As they're applying for these jobs, the AI technology built into the job boards is looking for particular keywords. And if those are absent, they are absolutely going to be kicked out of the active stream. And unless a recruiter has an extra moment to look in that rejected folder, they're just not getting they're not getting past the electronic gatekeeper at all. So it's all about showing them these tips and tricks that are behind the scenes that they need to know about, that nobody tells you. That's the thing, nobody tells you these things. So we can kind of come in and in a very compact window of time bring them up to speed to where they're proficient, they're really getting the results that they want. So I would say that's one good example of that.
Yes, thank you. So, I just want to add a little bit to that, Karen, as far as, I think the AI tools and the curriculum, and you're actually going to be able to see the platform. Anthony is going to show you the platform in which students can access, and then have those bits of supports from Karen through, coaching. One of the other questions we get a lot about this curriculum is it's aligned to CTE and ISET standards. And why is that essential for workforce readiness, especially for teens and adults? I am going to walk you through the facilitator's guide, but I do want to talk about curriculum should be standardized, and there should be some competencies in order for students or the learner to be able to master, okay, by the time they've completed. So we wanted to make sure that these standards, and we know that career technical education and the International Society for Technology and Education, ISET standards, are something that is global. And these standards are global workforce readiness standards that we wanted to make sure that as students are completing each of the modules, they're able to go into a job and they're able to say, I've been able to do this, I can do this, I'm signing off for this different task. So we really felt that that was very important. I am going to share with you, I'm going to add, hopefully you all can see this. Can everybody see? Give me a thumbs up. That awesome. So it is an online curriculum, but we are going to provide a facilitator guide for the facilitator as they're supporting the learner. And I want to walk you through this because it does have just real world experiences for a teen learner, and it really connects to them. First of all, it starts off with a great video from, as you can see, Desiree. Desiree is like the Microsoft Copilot instructor. And there's these great videos with Desiree on there that's in an animated form that is really talking about ethical use of AI. So, that's many of the things that people are afraid of is, well, will my student actually just cut and paste it? And will it just go as a resume or cover letter? Or, are we taking other people's information? Or is it the correct information about the person, right? And so first we start off with talk about the ethical use of AI, which is very, very, very important for both teens and for adults. Also, there is a pre-quiz and a post-quiz in every single one of the modules. And so this will help the learner, first of all, focus, okay, well, this is what I do need to master and this is what I don't. But it also helps out online where you can see as you're going through the course how well you're doing and progressing. There's clear prompting examples for each, the Excel, Outlook. So prompts are a big thing, right? How do I actually get the AI or Copilot to actually give me the information that I need? So it talks about how to give accurate prompts to the student as they're creating. So let's really walk through. The first module, as you can see, is Word and PowerPoint. And it really looks at how to create in Word a resume and cover letters. It even helps the student to also write a short bio about themselves. And it also, for PowerPoint, it allows them to have slides, and it gives them prompts on how to create the various slides within the module. And so it gives them clear examples of what a good resume is and what a not so good resume is. And sometimes for teens, it's hard to talk about yourself. And it's hard to know, well, do I really have job experience, and how do I highlight that? So the module really supports the teen learner on, okay, how do I bring in other extracurricular activities to help support me as I'm sharing my skills in a resume? So it not only uses AI to integrate, but it also gives the student or the learner case studies so they can actually apply the knowledge. It's great to be able to give a lot of information to the learner, but they also need to be able to apply it in a real world sense, because that's what they're going to be doing. So I'm going to quickly walk through this because it does do the PowerPoint. And module two is Excel. And one of the biggest parts of Excel is they get to create a budget, which is really cool. I know that sometimes it's challenging just to create a budget on my own as an adult with a family. But then having AI tools to be able to look at trends of the budget, they even learn how to do some very basic charts and visualizations, which are sometimes useful for someone who's going into an entry-level position for a job. So it actually will tell them how to do that through Excel, through charts and visualizations. And of course, every module has a case study and a pre and post, so they can apply the knowledge and see where they have mastered. The two last modules that I really want to talk about is Outlook and Teams. Outlook is email. Sometimes you would think, hey, I know how to write an email. I know how to write a professional email. Not so much all the time for all teen learners and even some entry-level adult learners. But this actual provides them examples of how to write a good email, but also how to use Copilot to be able to draft that email as well and provide them prompts as they're doing. And then they get to analyze, well, what's a poor email and what's a stellar email? Okay. It also gives them examples of how to schedule meetings, because Outlook also how you can schedule meetings through Copilot as well, and gives case studies. And then the last thing, Teams, of course, is that communication tool, and it helps to students. This is sometimes students who are in high school, they may not have access to Teams, but it's basically almost, it's not texting because it's a professional setting, and they may think, oh, well, let me just send a text. Is this a formal, communication through Teams when they're communicating? But it also, with Copilot, provides them messages. It also can collate different meetings and information for the student. But it talks about what is Teams and how to provide prompts on Teams to best be able to use it efficiently. Because AI essentially is assistant to you. It assists the student or the learner to be able to support them in what they're doing. It's not taking over what they're doing. It's assisting them, and they should know how to be able to use it effectively. The last thing I'm just going to end with, which I think is really important, is the Careers in AI and Career Capstone. There is a project for both the teens and the adults. I'm showing the teens right now, but this capstone project provides them the ability to either create a real workforce scenario, whether it's drafting a document or building PowerPoint slides and creating an Excel visualization as well. And they'll be able to do that in small groups. So I'm going to actually stop the sharing right now and go back. And I do want Anthony to really walk through the platform and share his screen as he's talking through. But for this next question, how is the community responding to the growing demand for AI and digital training? And if Anthony, if you could also share a little bit of the platform as you talk through this question.
Well, as I said, the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation is located in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we know it's one of the entertainment capitals of the world. So there's a lot of wealth and money, but there's also segments here that are really impoverished, underserved. And our office location, for example, is in an area called the Historic West Side. And the income, average income there is very low. So that community has been very left behind. So the city is really, really behind trying to revitalize different parts of Vegas and the Historic West Side in particular. Two big things that have happened that really lines up with the timing of what we're doing is there's actually a grand opening of a brand new library in the Historic West Side. And also a few months ago, one of the colleges just opened a workforce development training center that's going to have different training in manufacturing, different things. So the city is really, really behind trying to create more jobs, create more pathways. So what we're offering is already in alignment with that. The actual website for this is the UCCDC.institute. And as Jennifer was saying, what we really want to keep in your mind is that we have a focus on what we call is a pathway or a pipeline. So we built an online training institute that over time is going to have a library of different courses related to AI, career readiness, workforce development, and even entrepreneurship. So if you come here, we have very detailed overview of the course. It shows a very clear breakdown, just like you saw the different modules that will show what the different objectives are when you come here to UCCDC.institute. Shows a full description of the course. And we also embedded in here so you can get a taste of the course and get a brief excerpt of the course. So when you come right to the website, you can see the part sample of the course. So we really put this together so that you can really understand what all is involved in the course before you purchase it. And as was stated earlier, you have the option of being able to take it as a self-paced course, or it could be registered for entire groups to take it as an entire group or cohort. Within the course itself, once you're into the LMS system, it walks you through step by step, each step-by-step process. Students are not able to jump ahead if they have not completed the pre-quiz, post-quiz. Assignments get uploaded within here so that the teacher that is assigned to the course can grade it. And so they must go step by step and can't just jump forward throughout the course. A certificate of completion is issued after their capstone project is submitted and approved. And we've embedded into our course that immediately there is an introductory career coaching video that pops up. So students, as soon as they get their certificate of completion, they upload their resume and they complete a short career planning questionnaire so that gives the career coach some information about the current draft of their resume and what their current thoughts are about their career.
Awesome. So we did have a question that came in. I'm going to just share from Brian Jackson. How do I get trained in AI? And so one of the things is I do have my email address that's on the screen, jdunn@bunifuelearning.com, and that will give access to all of us, the platform, so you can access it. If you're at a job or at work in which you want to be able to share this curriculum, we can help support you do that in doing that as well. So, and then we also have Karen, who can possibly support with one-on-one coaching as well if it's for career navigation. But so hopefully, Brandon, that answered your question. And please submit any other additional questions as well. We do want, that brings us to the next question. We want this not only, we all are in different geographical areas of the United States. I reside here in Washington, D.C., and you heard Anthony is in Vegas, and Karen, you are in.
I'm about an hour outside of Boston.
An hour outside of Boston. So, but we really envision this to be something that can be a national implementation. So that brings me to the last question. How do you see this curriculum or this program? It's not a curriculum. This is a program. This is an initiative. This is something we want to push, especially to low income communities. But how do you envision this program scaling nationally to prepare more learners for AI-driven careers? And Anthony, I always like to come to you because you are really doing some, out-of-the-box work there in Vegas.
Well, I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning. AI and STEM Career Pathways Initiative is the broader concept. So we're really working to create pathways, and we're working to create a pipeline. So there's three primary components. One is you have to have courses, right? So our course is an entry point to more complex courses. Everybody talks about robotics. They talk about drones. These are different careers that are out there. But if you're not comfortable or confident on a computer or with AI, that's just too big of a leap. So we're giving you something to get comfortable with computers, get comfortable with AI. So one component is the content. Microsoft, for example, which we're closely partnered with, they alone already have 20 AI certification courses you can take. So what our concept is you take your introductory course with us. Now through the career coaching session, we find and share different pathways you can go. You can go down the Microsoft pathway. There's other pathways. So that's one component. Second component is access to internships, part-time and full-time employment. So when we say Pathways Initiative, we're pulling all three things together. We already have relationships with companies and are building more relationships with more companies that when you get your certificate of completion, we have companies immediately waiting to give you opportunities to interview for an internship, for part-time and full-time employment. That is a huge thing because people can go get a certificate but have no direction of where the jobs are. And then thirdly, like Avery Grace Careers were saying earlier, if you've never been on interviews or if you've been going to interview after interview, but yet nothing's happening, there could be little tweaks like the phrase or the keyword or the job title that you have on your resume might not be getting picked up in the algorithm. So our program is comprehensive, that it has three key components. And that's why I was really excited that we're able to have this live session today, because it represents the three compartments: content, career coaching, and leading to actual opportunities directly with employers.
Awesome. Karen, can you go ahead and tell us how you think that you see this program scaling nationally?
Well, I am really glad you asked that, actually. Look, make no mistake, okay, this curriculum was designed to scale. This is a nationwide rollout. And as you know, we already have multiple, school systems and workforce development programs that we're speaking with. And again, it's designed to scale. And I could not be more excited because of it's also the passion. I know the passion level that these participants, whether it's UCCDC or yourself there at Bunifu or me, I mean, we live and breathe this. And I couldn't be more excited. We're ready to roll right now.
You know, it's funny. It is the passion, because as we've sit and we've prepared for just this presentation, it's really about how we can partner also with youth organization readiness, job readiness programs. We want to partner with college access programs and networks, after school programs as well. Wherever there is a youth or an adult entry level person that is looking for a pathway to certification, that we want to provide these tools for. We want to also focus on that underrepresented group where there is a gap. There is a gap for AI literacy, and we want to make sure that we move the needle. We're not sitting here just trying to give information. We want to build generational wealth for these communities, and that is the real passion for the work that we're doing. I'd like to always end these live sessions with one question. What is one golden nugget you could leave our listening audience today? I'm always throwing something their way. So I'm going to start with you, Karen. Just to leave our audience to think about as we close today's session.
You know, I would say my golden nugget is this: it's never too early or too late to empower yourself with skills that are going to take you where you want to go in life.
How about you, Anthony?
I would say the phrase, it's affordable. Everyone, you know, we want to encourage you to really look to go to college. But the other thing that AI offers is that you could be making money while you're in high school or even while you're in college. Instead of working at McDonald's, you could be certified and have certain certificates in AI to really have a good, comfortable college lifestyle. So it's affordable. And if you get started right now, you're going to be way, way ahead of the curve. And hopefully I can share my screen one last time before we close out. Is that okay?
Yep, go ahead and share, and I'll just add it to the stage.
All right, I just want to say once again, the website is UCCDC.institute. And as the question was asked earlier about how to reach out, it is a self-paced course where you can register on your own, but it's also set up for groups to take it as an entire group. So if you just come here, you can click, do a group registration, fill out your information for
Anthony, share your screen one more time. For some reason, it's not sharing. Do it one more time for me. Oh, wait a minute.
Did it reconnect?
There we go. I just added it.
All right. I just want to remind everyone that our web address is uccdc.institute. And as someone had asked earlier about getting more information, you can sign up self-paced to take it individually, but it's also set up for entire classrooms, groups, cohorts to take it. And if you like to inquire about getting registered, you can just come here, fill out your information, and send us an email right through the platform about what your training needs are, how many students you would like to take the course, what type of schedule, and all of that. So that's another way to reach out to us.
So also, Brandon, I know you said that you're at a community-based organization. Just to let you know, I got your email address. So Anthony, Karen, and I will follow up with you directly to see how we can support your program, your community-based program. So I do want to end with, first of all, I appreciate those of you who have came into this live session, but there is going to be a recording that will be on LinkedIn. So if you could please share it with others, because we want to get the word out here. It's not about, like we said before, this is about building a pipeline of talent and focusing on those underrepresented communities and groups. So I'd like to also thank Anthony and Karen. It's always wonderful to continue to collaborate with you as we go through into the new year. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today.
Thank you so much for hosting us, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Great facilitator.